something I'm learning about myself and learning about doing this content thing. Sometimes you really just have to press record. I was sitting here talking to myself about, my goals, the things that I'm doing, the things that I want to accomplish and creation, and even just like streaming and the commentary and stuff. And I just had to be grateful that, I have enough passion to take this a little more serious. Just looking over some of my numbers, they may not be like great or anything like that, but just seeing progress made me feel really good. And I wanted to get on video, talk about that, and just possibly motivate somebody else into continuing with going on. I was talking to my brother and a couple of our friends in a chat the other day, and somebody mentioned something about quitting. Now, I try to change narratives. I try to make things more positive than they are negative very often. And what happened was I said, you're not a quitter. It was just time for you to turn the page. So what I want to speak about in this video is just your words really mean a lot, and you really should just adjust a word or two a different way to see how it'll make you feel, because it can literally change everything. Understand something, right? You're not perfect. I'm not perfect, and neither of us should try to be perfect. But at the end of the day, something you do have to do and have to go along with everything that you want to work for is you have to protect your mental health. I am one of the biggest advocates for peace in this world. If I do not bring you or somebody else in this world peace and they cut me off, good for them. I don't want to be a problem to you. So I understand my place in people's lives. I understand people's place in my life. And at the end of the day, your peace has to be protected. If that person blocked you, if you block that person, don't see it as petty, see it as peaceful. Some people need to remove themselves from you as well as you remove yourself from them, so you can both move forward in a better way of life. The majority of people really don't just think to themselves, how can I create more peace today? Is it sitting at your desk and getting all your work done so you can do more leisure things later in the week? Is it coming home, spending time with your family, and then when family time's over, jumping into your hobbies and your passions, like streaming or doing YouTube and things of that nature? There's a lot of creation that has to happen in your personal life so you can have a hobby life. If you don't have your personal together and get your mental together, you're not going to really have time to do the things that you would like to do. You're going to think, oh, I'm depressed, I'm defeated, I don't want to do these things. These things are not going to bring me happiness. And a majority of the time, the reason you're not finding happiness in what you do is simply because you're limiting yourself mentally. If you can't wake up every day, and again, it's not going to happen overnight. I love saying that because it's really true. Like, these things take time. It took me years to get to this point, to even click record, do a video without a script and just tell you how I went through things. This is just me venting about my mental health struggles, issues, and getting them out there. Everybody fights a silent battle, not to sidetrack a little, but you have to fight that battle and win. And that's the biggest piece of advice I can give you. Like, win the battle. We mentioned earlier not being a quitter and changing that narrative of quitting or leaving something like a job or people alone and turning it into turning pages. Now, the reason I use the phrase turning the page is because I see life as a book, and so do many other people. And it's very relatable if you just use a book. So books have front covers, they have back covers, and more importantly, they have chapters. Most people, when they have a birthday, they say, what? Oh, chapter 27 is closed. I can't wait to see what chapter 28 brings me. I said it for my 27th to 28th birthday, so that's probably why I use that example. At the end of the day, you see your life in chapters the older that you get. You have the chapter of, you were an infant and a toddler. You may remember like faint things from then. Then you have your school age, where you remember your teachers, your friends, people you've known since you was 5, 6, 7 years old. Shout out to my friends for 20 plus years. You really have all these different phases of your life. And when you look back at your life, you're just like, well, damn, that just flew by. And you think back to all those happy moments, but then you remember, like, you can't move backwards. This is one of those moments and situations where I just found a real deep appreciation for myself And this is, I guess, future me telling past me, thank you for fighting, because I'm grateful that you kept going. There was a point in time when I would think to do a video for YouTube, and I have a list of ideas like written in my Discord. Like people can corroborate this. I have lists of things that I would like to get done, but I'm literally afraid of always thinking, you know, what would you think? You're the viewer, you're the audience, you're the one watching these videos if you watch them. And my first thing would be, man, ain't nobody watching that shit. But then I see somebody else did it, and I'm just like, you get caught in that comparison. I don't want to call it imposter syndrome, because it's not that. It is not, no in way, shape, or form imposter syndrome. But I worried too much about what everybody would think. And when I just did commentary with my guy Vel, I was just thinking to myself, you know, seeing that we almost averaged 20 viewers on these Game of the Weeks for any given Sunday. I remember a time when I was just like, yo, nobody wants to see me stream. Nobody wants to hear me talk. Nobody cares what I have to say. And all of that was me mentally blocking myself and telling myself I didn't believe in me. That fucks with you a lot. When you don't believe in yourself and you trying to put a product out and you're scared to admit you don't believe in yourself, like you just want to give up. You know, like we said, you want to quit. You want to close your book too early. And that's what happens sometimes. You close your book too early. There's no need for you to close the book right now or switch to a different chapter just because you think it's time for that new chapter. It's going to come when it needs to come. Even any time that you thought you closed a chapter out and then you realize later on this chapter kept going and I'm just now making a new one. That's the way you have to start thinking if you're going to have a hobby that takes time. Like, it takes time, and nobody decided yesterday I'm gonna be a YouTube megastar and do some stupid shit and then blew up in one day. It happens on maybe a very like 0.1% occasion, but it's not possible for everybody to do it. Getting a fan base in a community takes time. Getting through your own issues and getting out your own way takes it's time. And I want to make this video for the people who think they're in their own way. Just keep going. You're not necessarily in your own way. You're learning as you go. You're making the mistakes to learn lessons, and you're getting further and progressing every which way possible. You're just doing it in your own way. There is no correct path to getting where you want to be. I literally remember a time when I wanted to get to the point I'm at now, where I had a consistent viewer base listening to me call football games. I have that now. Like, that's a goal and a milestone, but like, I still want more. I don't want it to just be, 20. I eventually want to get to 25. Eventually I want to get to 30, but I realize all that is going to take time. So again, I really just wanted to make this video to really try to encourage somebody. If they don't feel like they are good enough, or they don't feel like they're doing well enough in content creation, just keep going. You'll never know what you learn. You'll never know the best parts of yourself if you give up too quickly. But remember that each chapter is going to write itself, and you'll know when it's time to close this chapter. And if you close it too early, you're just going to be filled with regret. And that ain't what you want out of life. I promise you, you do not want to be filled with that regret. I love you, and I hope that this video helped you overcome anything. But just make sure you take care of yourself today. And any other day that you watch this video or just listen to this part, just take care of yourself. And the rest will fall in place. I promise.